Hi guys, my name is Ella Devar and I'm a registered dietitian and the founder of the Gut-Brain Method. In my recent interview articles for All Recipes, I shared my story on how, as a poor immigrant in this country, I became a dietitian and how I managed to eat healthy on a very small budget. This article was reposted by Apple News and I'm happy to tell you more details on how, as a poor immigrant, I immigrated to America. I didn't even speak English, I didn't know anyone, and as shameful as I was of the fact that I was accepting food pantry donations from local Jewish community centers and I was living off the food stamps and buying food at the grocery supermarkets using the food stamps. As a young immigrant, I mastered the art of self-care on a tiny budget, and so can you. I'm happy as a dietitian to share my strategies on how I managed to eat healthy even when I wasn't earning a big amount. Now everyone's talking about recession, and I promise you that you can still eat healthy, and here's how. As a dietitian and a health enthusiast, I walk my talk. I always make sure to get the most amount of nutrients in the day, and I choose the nutrient-dense foods such as my number one, I always make sure to eat vegetables every day. So from food pantries and the food stamps at the supermarket, you can save money by buying food in cans. Canned food such as mackerel, sardines, and vegetables such as canned beans and beets and vegetables are awesome ways to save money and to have healthy, nutrient-dense foods at your disposal in your pantry anytime. I love to make sure to pair it with some vegetables, fresh vegetables. The cheapest ones that I would always buy are cabbage. Cabbage you can get for 50 cents per pound, and green and red cabbage are awesome low-calorie foods that are high in fiber and high in antioxidants. They help your body to detoxify and help you to lose weight. So cabbage also is awesome for probiotic-rich sauerkraut. You can make it yourself at home. All you need is salt and your intention to make a healthy food. You mix the cabbage with salt and you make an awesome homemade sauerkraut which delivers a bunch of probiotics and helps your gut to stay healthy. The second is I always make sure to buy protein-rich meals. Some of my favorite cheap protein-rich meals are, as I said earlier, the canned fish such as sardines, mackerel, anchovies, tuna, or salmon, and you'll be surprised, organ meats. Organ meats are much cheaper than lean meats, lean cuts like steaks and other beef and chicken. If you find chicken liver, beef hearts, and beef liver, those are usually tend to be cheaper and they're super nutritious and they're lean proteins, and that's how you optimize your intake of nutrient-dense foods on a small budget. My other recommendation is to make sure to buy health foods in bulk. What I mean when I say in bulk is things like nuts and dried good in pantries. You can find really good deals if you find that in the larger quantities. Those things last a long time, and that's when you can really splurge and make those foods, buy them a higher quality. I like to choose organic, non-GMO when I can, and if you find it in bulk and a good deal, definitely choose those. My other strategies when it comes to eating on a low budget is have a list of foods that you need and a shopping list before you go to the store. Most of us, and when we're trying to eat healthy and have aspirations to choose the best foods, when we get to the supermarket and we smell the donuts or burgers, our fast brain just takes over and we end up getting all those fun foods and postpone our plans to eat healthy. But when you have a grocery shopping list of the priorities, and your priorities should be colorful vegetables, antioxidant-rich berries, a lot of protein, some starch, a lot of hydration, and those things should be your priority. Always make sure to buy those first and stay on track. So when you walk out, you know that you got the best foods and you didn't waste any money. Other strategies to prevent money wasting is to freeze your berries. For example, if you buy fresh berries in bulk and you didn't finish it in a couple of days, I would freeze them. Or I would buy frozen berries and vegetables that are just nutritionally dense as the fresh ones. And that's usually lasts a long time, it doesn't spoil, and it's just as delicious as the fresh ones. Same thing with cooking. When I cook my veggies and proteins, I always like to make sure that I do the meal prep and I have some leftovers for the next day. So the next day, if you eat the same food and then you can freeze it a couple of days after. Last but not least, hydration. To prevent wasting money on your buying bottled water, I always recommend getting a nice filter and drink filtered water. Use a reusable bottle. This way you'll save a lot of money for yourself and you'll save the planet from the amount of plastic that's being wasted. Another way to prevent wasting your fresh fruits and vegetables is to have this mentality of the first in, first out. This approach I use for the first vegetables that you bought, you have to eat them first. So for example, the fresh green leafy vegetables, they get wilted very fast. So I always make sure I use them first. And if I buy fresh herbs that are very cheap, like cilantro, dill, and parsley, they are a powerful punch of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory nutrients. And I always make sure to use them in a salad dressing and make a chimichurri sauce, something that I could use more often on variety of dishes. And then I use other starchier vegetables that will last longer. I'm not in a hurry to use them, so I always make sure that I use the green leafy vegetables first. I hope these tips were helpful for you to make sure to get the shopping list first and add some of my top recommendations, and this way you'll make sure you'll make the most of the amount of money that you invest in a nutrient-dense food. And remember, healthy eating is not an expense, it's an investment into your body. And when you're investing in your body, it gives back tenfold. And if you don't take care of your health can become an expense. Believe me, medications and insurance and health plans cost a lot of money. It costs a lot more than healthy eating. So I hope I was able to inspire you to give healthy eating a chance even when you're eating on a small budget.